Hi, I'm Rachel McLeod. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and emotional wellness coach. I'm going to say that again, emotional wellness coach. Um, I used to call myself an emotional eating coach, but I really realized that I do so much um, more than that and something very specific to that. I really help people move through the emotional pieces of the dysfunction in their life and break them free so that they can rise into their higher self, which is why today's topic is called Three Ways to Give Your Soul the Room It Needs to Unfold. And ultimately, regardless of what I do, what I'm in this for, whether it's people come to me because I specialize in, I'm gonna tell you what I really specialize in, but I specialize in helping people eliminate symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic in 2 to 6 months instead of 2 to 6 years. Um, and I also help people eliminate patterns such as emotional eating or relying on drugs or alcohol to cope with the emotional distress that's going on. And so, but really, I'm in this for everyone to become more of their higher self, more of their authentic self, more free to be who they are, and to be able to live the life that is authentic to them, the life of their dreams, the life that is within their heart. That's really what I'm in here for. And what's great about symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress, most people have them. And the other thing is that that blocks you from really being who you want to be. It's like the chains that hold you down. It's one of the chains, right? And so once people get free of this, it's a whole new ball game. And so that's really what I love, and it's what I love about this work. And but today I want to talk about the three ways that to give your soul the room it needs to unfold, because many of you feel and sense and know that your soul is crunched up in a little box and can't go anywhere. And it barely, you don't get to live from your soul very much. A lot of us have a hard time living from our heart. A lot of us are just boxed up into our head, and or some of us are boxed into our heart and can't use our head. I mean, we just have, it's just not really working up there, and it's just really scrunchy, right? And really, we want you to have more room, and that's what your soul needs to unfold. So let's talk about three ways to do that. We'll dive in here. um, the first way to create more space for your soul to unfold is to release the emotional pain that's in there. That is taking up space. That is crowding things out. That is like, I think about this as like, your soul wants to expand and it touches the emotional pain. It's like electric shock, and it's like, oh, I got to go back in. I can't go out that far, right? But as soon as you release some emotional pain out here, it opens. And let me tell you what, emotional pain is not supposed to be there. It is supposed to keep moving through. I'm going to share one of my examples. I had this trauma from when I was about 7, and I had never told anybody. I this was before I became a therapist. I was in college, and I told somebody for the first time ever, and I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried, and then it felt better, right? But it also was very hard. It was very painful. But I've since worked on that memory using the tools that I've developed, that I've found with the strategies that I've developed, and I can tell that story over and over and over and over and over again. I can, I lots of forgiveness in that story. Like, it's just not emotional pain anymore. And so now, like, I can flow into that memory. I can flow into that space, because that was creating a lot of fear that I had around people, and just uncertain of what they're going to do next, and hypervigilance, right? And so this was challenging my relationships, because I really couldn't be too intimate or too close, because what will happen? I don't know. So I need to, exactly. So that was a problem. But since resolving that, that level of fear has come down, that level of comfort has come down. And so that's one of the ways that you can really create room for your soul to unfold. And so the more emotional pain you release, the better. And when all this, and emotional pain is things like grief, the shame. I talked about that in my last video. These are not things that should be here, and they affect us on every level of our being. They affect us physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, mentally. And they've got to go. They've got to be moved. They're here for a reason, and they're not supposed to just hang out. We're not supposed to have emotional baggage that we just throw on our back, and then we just keep collecting it and we throw on our back more, and then we just do that more, and now we've got all this stuff, and we're so busy worried and dealing with this stuff that we have no room to pay attention even to what's going on with our soul, what it wants, what it's feeling, what it needs, how to enrich ourselves. And so that's really, 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 that happens to also be one of the ways the most powerful way to eliminate symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. So I am a huge fan of emotional pain. The second thing is to give your soul the room it needs to heal, and to unfold, is to release the shackles that are on it, that are your limiting beliefs. I talked about how you can make confidence rise, and that it's a natural thing that just rises. And your soul is something that just naturally unfolds, unless it's blocked, unless it can't, right? And some of those things are our beliefs, the beliefs that we have, the belief that if we become great, if we live into our full potential, we will lose everyone we love. If we buy a new beautiful house, everyone will be jealous of us, and then we won't fit in and we will be rejected, right? If we are successful in our business, then people will see us and reject us, right? Or it won't be safe. Or I've had people say things like, some of the things that are keeping them locked down is that if they start to thrive, somebody will come take it from them. That's their belief, right? And this beliefs are just thoughts we think over and over and over again, but we've thought them so much that they're down in our subconscious. Or our subconscious likes things that are juicy with emotion. And so if somebody says something to you really powerfully, really strongly, and it has a lot of emotion with it, your subconscious mind is paying all attention to that and sinking it into your subconscious. Hi, Vanessa. Sinking it deeply into your subconscious, and then you're carrying this around. And not only when this belief comes up, the emotion comes with it, the emotion of fear, right? It's like you open up this belief box. It's a limiting belief. It's keeping you anchored low and down. And when you open that up, it's just this belief sabotages you, and then the emotions come along with it. And the next thing you know, subconsciously, you're looking for, who's going to take it from you, and you're looking for who's going to reject you, right? And that's the subconscious process. Starts with one little thought. And if you've got an anxiety, depression, or trauma disorder, you know that one thought can take you into the stratosphere or into the abyss of terror and torture, right? And so then we're on the guard, and we're trying to keep our subconscious quiet, but you can't do that. And then you're having all this disconnection between you and your soul, and it's difficult for you to unfold anything. And this authentic self that you have, this inner your soul doesn't have room to unfold, and you're just stuck in patterns in this grid and lockdown. So as you release your limiting beliefs, all of a sudden things just begin to open up, and now you're unfolding, right? Because what if you believe something different? Like, what if you believe that that your success is your highest form of service to all humanity? What if you believe that by being successful, you are inspiring the people around you? What if you believe that? Then when you open that belief, and these beliefs open up intrusively, or like flashbacks, like without your control, right? Because our brain is making associations all the time. It says, oh, this smell, this memory, this phrase, this feeling, so it's always making these connections. So if this feeling, if this belief opens up that I'm serving people by succeeding, also opens up with the feelings of that, right? And now you're standing taller, and it is like an unfolding, because it's like all the possibilities. and all the right feelings, right? And now you're free to, in this energy space, in this emotional place, and this belief, in this mental space, you're expanding and you're unfolding, right? But what happens if you do that and you kick out 10 limiting beliefs and you replace them with even 5 positive beliefs? What happens? What happens to your emotional state? What happens to your mood? Right? That's 10 times that you will not be triggered into negative emotion and negative belief state. That's powerful. That's how you can take back your emotional wellness, take back your dreams, and really open up the doors and let your soul unfold, right? Um, that's really powerful. And so limiting beliefs, which is also happens to be one of the most powerful ways to eliminate symptoms of anxiety, depression, traumatic stress, and to stop having to use food, marijuana, alcohol, drugs to deal with and distract and numb your emotions, right? So, and you're running into your belief system all the time. These are the root issues. If we're gonna just, I show my clients a diagram of a tree, and if this tree is a problem, and the leaves are the emotions, and if you just work on that, you just take the leaves off and they just grow right back, right? If you work on the branches, those are the emotions. I haven't drawn this picture in a while. Okay. So, but if you work on the branches, which would be the emotions, then you're chopping that off, right? I think the other one is symptoms. That's what I usually say up there, some symptoms. And then when you chop off that take the branches, you eliminate a lot of stuff, and you can see past the tree and you can see around the tree a lot. And that's really helpful. When you cut the tree off at the trunk, that's when you've worked through events. And so that's really powerful, because some trees, problem trees, I love trees. I am a tree hugger, but this analogy is good. If you cut the tree off at the trunk, that will kill many trees. Some trees, like hazelnuts, you chop that off there and it's just like, thanks for the haircut. And it just grows right on back, badder than ever and better, right? And then, but at the root level, those are the beliefs. And when you can grab those ones and yank, you are yanking the entire tree out, killing the whole thing and all the problems, symptoms, emotions, events associated with it. And so when you start releasing these beliefs, and you can really find them and eliminate them very quickly, very powerfully. I just did 3 limiting beliefs that I had discovered right before hopping on. So I'm just saying, you can really move through those. The challenging part is to find the belief, right? And you can learn how to do that really quickly and really easily. I spend a week teaching my clients that. And then we just rock and roll. Let's see. The third way to give your soul the room it needs to unfold is to embrace your shadow self. And I'm using a woo-woo word because I love to play with all the words. But this is the part of you that we want to hide from. This is the part of you that you will spend a lifetime not wanting to look at. This is the part of us that when you go tell your parents, hey, this bad thing happened to me, and they brush it off and they dismiss it, this is because they would have to deal with this part of themselves and they don't want to. This is the part of us that we label as evil. This is the part of us that we don't respect. This is the part of us that we hate. And let me tell you what, if you do any of this work, you're going to have to run right into that part, right? And so, but what happens with this, and why I love this kind of work, I love it, is because when you embrace that part of yourself, this part of us has so much wisdom and knowledge and power, and it has so many reasons, right? It has so much of who we are and why we are. For instance, if you find one part of us that can be part of the shadow self that you might find, I found this one, but is this part that just wants revenge, right? Let me tell you what, you can't lock that part up because if you do, you're cutting parts of yourself off. And that's why you have limited ability to be all of who you are, right? And but when people see that part, there's so much shame, they just want to lock it up and run. And then no, nobody touch that. Nobody talk about, we're not talking about that here, you know? But this is actually, I think this is like the mud and the dirt that our soul thrives in. I mean, all of this stuff, right? All of who we are. But it's almost like if we don't give it this mud and dirt too, it can't do what it needs to do. And I think our religions, like, we talk about these parts, but we talk about just cut them off, deal with them, deny them, this and that. And I'm saying that there's more we can do with that. We can heal that part of us. We can communicate with that part of us, because I'll tell you what, if there's a part of you that wants revenge, that means that it's deeply hurt. And that means your emotional wounds are in there. And that means you have to help that part. You have to figure out what they need, what they want, how to help them heal the pain. And then all of a sudden they'll drop it. There's a big embrace. And now you're friends. And now when this one comes up and says, revenge, you're like, okay, hold up. Who hurt you? Let's talk about it. And now you don't have to, because these parts will come up subconsciously. And as soon as you relax, you let go of your willpower, all of a sudden they start doing their thing. And they have all kinds of ways to create revenge with people, right? And so I'm telling you, let's just team up with these parts. Let's team up with the most ugly, evil parts of ourselves. I found one of my parts, it was beautiful. I mean, it was so sad, but it was like, I'm gonna tell you, I might cry. Okay. I was sitting here and I was looking for this part. I could feel it, and it was terror, and it was just terror, terror, terror. And I could feel it, and I was just looking for it. And I could see little flashes and flashes of dark movement. And it was moving at lightning speed, but it was like doing nice things whenever it got there, but it would just run back out. And it was like, it would just keep doing, it would just do that. And it didn't want to be seen so badly. And when I finally caught it, and I got to look at it, and I just saw so much of myself in it, right? It was this part that's afraid of humans. It loves humans. It wants to be accepted and loved by humans. But it doesn't know how to react, because it doesn't know if they're going to hurt them or not. And it's terrified, but it still has so much love to give that it wants to do the gifting. It wants to do the good things to them. And then it runs away. Don't see me, And when I saw this stuff, oh my gosh, I was just like, I just must have sat with this part, loving it, like, for a while. It was a huge moment for me. I was learning how to, this happened maybe in December, right? I've been doing this work for a long time. This was a subconscious, another layer of terror that I have been living with, but it's so normal for me that I just hadn't even noticed, right? But this stuff, and this one literally was a shadow, right? It was really just this black thing, this entity. And I could see that it was just dysfunction. It was just trying to cope with terror, feeling so afraid and feeling so wounded and hurt and not wanting to be hurt again, but still can't stop being who they are, right? So they had found this crazy way of being who they are without getting hurt. And that looked like just dropping off little things here and there, and right? So now it's like that part is now part of me, right? And now it's like my soul is unfolding because I'm acknowledging and getting to see more of who I am and be more of who I am and live into more of who I am. And when I start to feel those sensations again, I don't feel so angry that, here you go again, being so terrified. I think, oh, there's that part. Let me go see what they need. Let me just embrace it. It just needs some support through this, and that's all it needs, a little attention, imagine. And these are parts of us that didn't get attention when we were younger. They didn't get what they needed then. They didn't, in the moments when they started coming out and developing, they didn't get what they needed. And so they're hurt and they're wounded, but we can go back and help them at any time. And this just energizes and boosts our soul unfoldment. Now you're more whole, right? Because you don't need to cut yourself off anymore. You can just live into all of who you are. And it's like you get to sink deeper roots, right? Because that's some of your stuff. And now it's coming together and you're just vibrant and you're thriving, and you didn't have to, nobody had to do it for you, right? That's what we get caught up in. And our soul doesn't grow when we're out there like, give me what I need. In all the forms we do it, right? We do that aggressively or passively or passive aggressively or indirectly, right? Or manipulatively. But it looks like that. It's desperation, like, I need this. Give it to me. But really, you come packaged to meet every one of your own needs. It's just about activating it. That's it. You've got this. Your entire package will do this for you. And that may be a big stretch to understand or embrace, but I want you to try to embrace that. If you have any questions about this, I want you to go ahead and ask me. Post a comment in there. I'm going to just keep talking, but this work and what unfolds the soul is really unconditional love. I believe this, thoughts from Rachel. But unconditional love, not conditioned, I will love you if you don't have that nasty little shadow thing going on, or I will love you, but damn, you need to lose 200 pounds. I will love you, but I don't like that you have, whatever. It doesn't matter. Or you do this, or you look like that, right? Unconditional love is like unconditional, right? And this is something we grow into as humans. We're supposed to be here growing into unconditional love. It's one of the most powerful things ever. And it's hard. It's really not an easy concept. And it really is developed to come back on you and to unfold your soul more. The more you practice it on other people, the more you're like, okay, if I could do that with them, I think I could probably do it to me. The more you practice it in yourself, the more you can do it to other people. Like, oh, this felt really good to me. I bet they would like it. And here you go. And guess what this does to your relationships? Want to take a guess what that does to your relationships? Right? And so, and now there's all this power that's coming out of you. And it's coming from your soul. It's coming from this, who you are, your absolute essence. It's awesome. It's great. It's natural. It's coming from who you are, no effort, effortless flow of all the goodness and all this unconditional love. If you're going to get some backpacks on, stuff that stuff full of unconditional love. Don't stuff it full of emotional pain. Unconditional love is just one of the most, it's the most powerful tool in my tool belt. And really creates so much healing and so much unfoldment of exactly who you are and exactly the kind of impact you're meant to have on this planet and exactly all the experiences you're supposed to be experiencing, right? So those are my thoughts. Thank you for this time. If this is something, if all this stuff that I'm talking about has moved you and has really made you feel like, it's time for you to be all of who you are. It's time for your soul to unfold. And you want to talk to me about this, I invite you to book a call with me by going to rachelmcleod.com/call. I will spend an hour with you. This is a free service that I offer. I'll spend an hour with you to take a look at what's going on, where you're stuck, where you want to go, and then help you create a plan to get there. And if I can help you with this, I will absolutely show you how. I'll outline for that. I will outline that for you. And if not, that's okay too. I will help you make sure you have your next steps. And so that is what I have to say. That's the end of what I got. I'm going to scroll and see if there's any questions. Oh, thank you for the comment. No question, but a comment. Vanessa says she loves this. Thank you. I love her. If you want to talk about body butters and awesome things, you click on her link and go, because I love her stuff. I need to talk with you, Vanessa. I need another order. Anyway, I love it. I really could possibly eat that stuff. I know that's a confessions from Rachel. Okay, I'm getting off. You don't need to know anything more about me. No. It's good and it smells good. Anyway, take care, guys.